answering the hottest questions from Q2 off of Say Technologies. So many dumb questions. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. How is everybody? Am I sounding good? I think I've got a bee in here. That's exciting. Might have just been a fly. As a reminder, you're watching the full live version here on My Tesla Live, the one that goes out on Fridays. Or you're watching the condensed version over the weekend. It's whichever one's on the screen. You guys know how that works. Subscribe to both. I do. So, Say Technologies. Kind of neat. I don't know if you know this, but Gally from Hyperchange was instrumental in this becoming a thing. So instead of 10,000 people calling in on the shareholder announcement, the quarterly results, you get to ask questions, and they are ranked both by how many upvotes they get, how many shares are involved in asking the question. It's a neat way to get answers to your questions. And the company picks and chooses which ones they want to answer, but it's still better than anything else. You know, better than nothing, certainly. So let's get into some of those super great questions. Any update with Tesla HVAC that can be shared? No, there isn't. There isn't, and we know because we'd be seeing it or hearing from it. And they go through products one at a time. I did find this super neat article that says, yeah, they've talked about it, but it's not really doing anything. And as I'm reading this, I'm like, wow, this reads like it's search engine optimized. Ah, yes, it is. This is a company. Wow. Whoever you hired for this did a good job because you came up really high. Nothing to share. Not yet. It's not time. Will Tesla's Texas Giga Factory produce vehicles besides the Model Y and CyberTruck, and if so, when? So the short answer is yes, of course it will, and when it makes sense. Now, we originally believed that Texas was going to start by making the CyberTruck, but demand for the Model Y eclipsed even Elon's most ambitious hopes. So they kind of switched gears and decided to sell something that they understand a little better. And I couldn't find the article, but we know that the Model 3 and Y were being built for at least a short time in Shanghai on the same line. Because these cars share 75% of the same parts. Little differences, of course, but there's no reason they couldn't also make 3s on the same line or in a parallel line. So when will they make cars other than the Y and the CyberTruck? As soon as it makes sense. And considering they're using similar architecture, not just the same parts, but the same architecture, no reason they can't. What is the status of the $25,000 car? Again, I have to, this is an aspirational question. You're hoping to get an answer that you don't already know. Because we know it's on hold. There's no reason to make a $25,000 car yet. This is a neat design. I like this render. They've got too much on their plate. We've got the CyberTruck, the Semi, and the Roadster. We're still waiting on all of those. One thing at a time. Will the $25,000 vehicle ever happen? Inflation suggests it can't. It may be a $30,000 vehicle instead. But we'll see what happens in coming quarters as the economy cools down a bit, which is a polite way of saying goes into a recession. We'll see. It's been interesting times. How is the 4680 ramp going? And is Giga Texas producing cells yet? And for that matter, what are the biggest headwinds? What will production be at the end of the year? And what's the expected versus actual yield? So are they making them? Yeah, they are. We know from Jordan Giesege's amazing video that the anode is dry battery electrode and the cathode is not. I may have said that backwards on an interview recently. It's underway. The plan A is dry battery electrode, dry battery cathode. Plan B is mix and match, which is what they're doing now. And plan C is go ahead and expand it to use 2170s as well. Now, the ramp is going slower than expected. In February, they announced that the Cato Road facility had made their millionth battery. Millionth? That's only like, 12,000 cars or something. Each car is 800, so that's not good. 12,000 cars? 1,200 cars? Not enough cars. Not enough batteries. I thought they had warehouses full of them. But 1 million is less than I expected. But that's not a problem. Anyone can make a 4680. Can't they? Panasonic is. They're building a $4 billion factory in Kansas. It'll be the biggest lithium battery producer in North America. And they're making 4680s. And they're making them for Tesla. This could, once ramped, address the shortfall that we've got for the Semi, for the CyberTruck, and maybe for the other vehicles too, including the $25,000 model, the Q. LG making 4680s as well for Tesla. Samsung preparing their pilot line to make 4680s for Tesla. At Battery Day, Elon said, we're going to keep buying. Fellow battery producers, do not think we're trying to cut you out. We have an appetite that is insatiable for cells. If you make them, we will buy them. And if you look at the top 10 battery producers in the world, you've got CATL, Panasonic, Samsung, BYD, and LG. Those are the top 5. Tesla buys from all of them. And they're probably going to be in that top 5 themselves once their battery factories get ramped. Number 6 is SK Innovation. Ford is using them. So are they making batteries? Yeah, of course they are. Joe Tetmeyer, who we talked about in the pre-show chat. Yeah, this is the battery line. It's running. This is from last month. These are where they're made. And they've been making them for some time. It's very, very exciting. And they've got a lot of equipment in there. Tesla Giga Texas to also build Model Y with the 2170s. So this was discussed in an interview recently where Elon was saying that we needed to add the ability to make 2170 cars in Texas, and the equipment we needed in order to do this was stuck in China because they weren't shipping. Nothing was shipping during the shutdown. But we know that the equipment is there, and that's plan C. There's always a plan B and a plan C. There's backups and backups for the backups. What will the initial applications be for TeslaBot? And at what point do you see it generating meaningful revenue? And where will it be made? Where will it be made? Easy question. Nothing difficult there. It can be made anywhere. It doesn't need a factory the size of a car factory. It's not as big as a car. It's much easier to make something that's that much smaller. So it can be made anywhere. But what are the applications? Who would use it? Well, early ones. And by the way, TeslaBot, super real. Got a whole video about it. Who will use it? Use it in a factory. Why not? That's a good first use. Put it in your own factory. If it can't work in your own factory, you've got more work to do. And if it can, use it. Who else could use it? I don't know. SpaceX. They already are using robots from Boston Dynamics. Baston Dynamics. Who else could use robots? Well, did you know that in mining or even tunneling, bit boring, I know, one of the biggest costs is safety. If you can remove the human from the equation, you can remove the safety costs associated with humans. So like this guy is doing a job faster and better by operating this robot. And this much smaller man is saving time by operating this larger man who's operating this robot. Kind of looks like Master Blaster from Mad Max. When is the Tesla stock split? And for that matter, would you consider buying back shares if we can maintain profitability? Who's this we? Sports fans do that too. We had a good season. Really? I didn't see you out there pitching. So, first answer is no one cares. It's not important. We still have to get the shareholder approval to increase the number of shares that can be issued in order to facilitate a split. Probably going to happen, and then the split will happen in a few months. And as for paying dividends, I made a whole video about that too. The short answer is there are still too many worlds left to conquer. If Tesla had $1 trillion in cash laying around and they wanted to deploy robotaxi, $1 trillion only gets you 20 million cars at 50 grand. And for megapack installations, those are $100 million each. $1 trillion only gets you 10,000 of those. 10,000, that's a lot. It is. But we've got, in order to build 10,000 megapack locations, you'd probably need another megapack factory. So there remain far too many worlds left to conquer. When will the CyberTruck officially be available? Well, officially, there is no officially. It's like the people who say, Elon, at Battery Day, Elon promised. No, he doesn't promise. He states targets and objectives. But this is a better question, not so much for the shareholder call, but for the Googles. Because Tesla Cybertruck will go on sale in 2023, says a noted internet troll Elon Musk. Gotta make your plans to launch a wide beta. Yeah, and for that matter, they plan to... yeah, you can launch a wide beta of FSD this year. You can absolutely do that. But, he said he hopes that FSD will be done this year. I feel like this might be a rerun. So the answer is, we've seen reports that the equipment needed to build the Cybertruck has been at least ordered, if not yet delivered, to Texas. That would sound reasonable for mid-2023. And I tell you, my patience is wearing thin. Get them built, baby. Get them out. Where will the next Gigafactory be built? Well, again, you guys, I don't think you guys would ask these questions. You're here, you probably know, more or less, the answers. We covered it all. I went through, 40 different candidate countries? But the short answer is, we still don't know. It could be anywhere. It could be a number of places. It does, in my opinion, need to diversify. Indonesia, I know they want a full everything factory. They may get that. They may just get a battery factory. They do have great access to minerals and whatnot. And they have the political will. They have the desire to get them in and get things going. Do you have a confirmed, validated bubble for Shanghai operations that you can deploy in case another lockdown is enacted? Can you speak to it? Expected impact if needed, etc. They absolutely have a plan. They do, even if they just reused the old plan. But I assume they have more ideas for how to work it better next time. I assume they would go straight into a bubble production. It would impact production substantially, depending on how long it is, because they still need parts to build the car. They cannot make everything in-house. They do as much vertical integration as they can, but even with that, you'll run out of steel. So they absolutely do have this. The Shanghai Digital Blade Canada says the Shanghai question is actually a decent one. It depends on the answer. If this gives us an exciting answer, then it's a great question. The short answer is, yeah, we assume they do, and we'd be crazy to assume they don't. We are doing great on time. If you guys want to get your questions in now, we can discuss them. How do you feel the progress of FSD is going, and does Andrei Karpathy leaving have any significant impact on any timelines or potential progress? This is hotly discussed. Regardless of the answer, I know what Tesla's answer will be. Regardless of reality, they will say, this changes nothing. Our timelines are still as good as ever. Although I would argue, not as good as they were 4, 5, 6 years ago. It's interesting, but I don't think him leaving will make an impact. I don't think. There was a tweet last November or something where Elon had said, I know Andre and myself, Elon, I'm not Elon by the way, get a lot of credit for directing full self-driving, but it's not us, it's Ashok. I hope I'm saying that right, going off memory, who's actually directing the deeper day-to-day stuff. So that, I think, is the answer to that. It'll move forward either way. The real trick is, like so many things, it's impossible until it isn't. How are Tesla self-driving semi-trucks coming along? That's 2 questions in one, isn't it? If self-driving is handled for cars, it's handled for trucks. So much of what semi-trucks do, especially long haul, is monotonous. And even autopilot, regular autopilot, would reduce the stress and fatigue that comes with long-haul trucking. But how are the semis themselves coming? Well, I happen to have an inside source in Nevada. I don't see him here today, but he says they are making the motors, that they've made quite a few trucks worth of motors, and that they box them up and then they go somewhere, and he doesn't know where. So they could be assembling more test trucks. The truck is coming, but it's coming slow. And I think the price on it is all wrong. The Tesla Semi is slated to be, based on the original announcement so many years ago, December of 2017? No, it can't be that long ago. It was, wasn't it? Oh, Lord. The Tesla Semi comes in 2 variants, $150,000 and $180,000. Those are too low. Those prices are too low. Other rivals are selling electric trucks in the $350,000 to $500,000 range. I think it's Mack Truck, whose the order book is open. You can order one today, and they'll build it. Their truck is $500,000. And it's dollars and cents. It's just either worth it or it ain't. And there's going to be a lot of early growing pains in terms of servicing these trucks. Nice thing with a Mack is you've already got an established service network that can be just expanded to also handle electric trucks. How do Tesla plan to handle all the misinformation, attacks, and fake news against Tesla and Elon Musk? We've been dealing with this, and it affects the stock. Agreed. I am an advocate for Tesla getting a PR department. Tesla doesn't need one. Really? Because they have one in China and they have one in Germany. What makes the US so special Is it that Elon's German is quite terrible? Because it is. Even having one person as a rapid response team to handle the FUD of the day would be valuable. One thing that was pointed out on Patreon by Who Is This in the chat was that when Berlin got to 1,000 cars a week, there was news. It was a press release. It appears Texas has done that. Not a peep. Not a peep. You're relying on speculation from people like me and Joe Tetmeyer to get the word out. And it works, but it sucks. And forget about things like getting me in to see gosh darn factory. Deal with the FUD. Deal with it. You remember when they had a track day to roll out track mode? They brought in all kinds of car reviewers and YouTubers and whatnot. And they all went out to a test track and got to drift. And they brought a couple of extra tires just in case. And they burnt through, I assume, all of them. That's something we need again, man. That's something we need. So we are about to get into my Q&A hole. Quick thanks, as always, to my amazing Patreons who get early access, bonus content, and ad free experience for the most part. And, all that good stuff. Get to chat with me, get to give me feedback on what the channel's about, what the shows are about. Get to give me great suggestions. Yeah. So, let's put on some B-roll and address some questions. Which B-roll should I use? Don't know. I'll just use my regular one. B-roll. Yeah. Did Brian go picnic early? No, I'm going to picnic, Oh yeah, I told my wife 8. I want to go at 7:30. I want to get out of here. My wife is taking me. I said, let's do something tonight. She goes, great. I have an idea. You should order and purchase pizza for us, and then we'll go eat it at the park. And I said, that sounds like a plan. Press wouldn't believe Tesla anyway. They don't have to believe it. In a lot of cases, it's not. In a lot of cases, we just need access to information. There are so many things that just go unanswered. And it would be nice. My thought on the PR, what I'd love to see is have an email that you can ask questions to. And each morning, the one-man PR team looks through and sees if any of them need answers, and then posts them on the Tesla website, on the Press Answers website. And you get an automated response saying, you may not get an answer. By the way, double check the frequently asked questions. It may be up there already. And if enough people ask, if this is important enough, we will get you your answer. Not personally, it'll go up. So check back tomorrow. That will also drive engagement. And for press who actually want answers, they would then go in and spend time reading through these questions and answers and become more knowledgeable. And I would nominate Rob Maurer for the job. Not because I want him out of the competition, because he and I are not competition. He is in a different league than me. But because I think he would do a very good job. I think his demeanor and his temperament are very well suited to something like PR. I just don't think they could afford him. I'd rather their new legal team put Line Publications out of business. Yeah. It's very rare to put a publication out of business. I think it has happened all of once with the Hulk Hogan lawsuit. And that was not just lying, but an extremely malicious example. What are diesel truck prices today? Yeah, what are semi-diesel truck prices at? That's a good question. I do not know. see what we got. Ah, Tech Fixer is here. We spoke of semi. You got to give us some scoop, man. Let's see. Let's see. So, yeah, quick shout out to everybody. Stevie Z, Tech Fixer, John, Digital Blade Canada, MD Hofsty, of course. Who is this? Of course. Oh, David Huber, Thaddeus. Hello, all. Hello. Wendelin was in here earlier, I saw. Very good stuff. Well, if there's no more questions, we can end early. I don't know. What should we, unless there's something we need to talk about, we will be live, of course, on the 20th to cover the financials. If you haven't seen it, on the second channel, there is a breakdown of what we think the financials might be for Q2 with special guest MD Hofsty, who shared his numbers, which historically have beaten Wall Street, which he'll be the first to tell you Wall Street's terrible, so I think they're not terrible. I think they're generally pretty good. I think they care about different things than us. We care about Tesla doing well. They care about you buying and selling. And if you're not buying, you're not selling, what are you doing? You're not our customer. All right. Enjoy my picnic. You know what? I shall. Just because you guys said so, I shall. I shall enjoy the pizza. Hey, Jeff, good to see you. I trust you got my email yesterday. Party on. Thank you for the super chat. And wonderful hanging out with all of you, as always. So, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me your thoughts, your wisdom, your juicy goodness of blinded brilliance into them comments below. And stay tuned, stay juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the flippity flop.